Hello, we're going to take a look at part 4 of your seminar here. On example 4, we're told that Mina and Rita are both flying kites in a field near their house. Both are using strings that are 10 meters long. Mina's string is at an angle of 75 degrees with the ground. Rita's string is at an angle of 65 degrees with the ground. If they're both standing at the same elevation, which kite is higher in the air? So I think what we'll do is we'll make this into a single triangle. So we have our ground right here. And Mina is up at 65 degrees. So I want to put that in right like that. So this is 65 degrees. I'll use M for Mina. And then Rita is at an angle of 75 degrees. And I want them to be about the same distance. Not about, I want them to be exactly the same distance, but this angle is 75 degrees with the ground. So we can see then that Rita, oh, I got those labeled backwards, don't I? Let me try that again. So Rita is at 65 degrees. That's R. Mina is at 75 degrees. So we can see Mina is higher. Now on example 5, we're going to be using our side angle side inequality here again. Notice, in order to have side angle side inequality, you have to have two sides that are congruent. We can see marked DL is congruent to DN. By the reflexive property, DM is congruent to itself because it's in both triangles. So we have two sides. The third sides are not congruent. Notice 18 is greater than 16. So we're going to say 140, the angle opposite 18, 141 degrees, is greater than the angle opposite 16, which is 9a plus 15. Now I always like to solve my inequality with a on the left side. So I'm going to flip my inequality. So I'm going to say 9a plus 15 is less than 141. Now let's do the algebra. We're going to subtract 15 from both sides. So then we're going to get 9a is less than, let me see, 11 minus 5 is 6, 3 minus 1 is 2, so 126. We'll divide both sides by 9. So a is less than, let me see, 9 goes into 12 once with 3 left over. So 9 goes into 36 4 times. So a is less than 14. However, there is a limit to what a can be, because you can't have an angle that is less than 0. So we also have to solve the inequality. 9a plus 15. Well, forgot my a there. Let's try that again. 9a plus 15 has to be greater than 0. 9a would be greater than negative 15. Divide both sides by 9. A is greater than, let me see, we can simplify that, can't we? We can divide them both by 3. So a is greater than negative 5/3. A can be a negative number. It just can't be any smaller than negative 5/3. So our answer then is a is between negative 5/3 and 14. A could be any of those values. Let's pause the video. See if you can do example 6 by yourself and come on back and check. So in example 6, it's kind of similar to the last question. Notice that we have two line segments, ZY and XY. They're both 8, so they're congruent. WY is congruent to itself. So then I'm going to say, oh, I'm going to compare 11 and 9 because they're not the same. 11 is greater than 9. While the angle opposite 11, 7n plus 15, must be greater than the angle opposite 9, which is 47 degrees. What did I say 15? It's a 5. Sorry about that. 7n plus 5. Now let's do the algebra. Let's subtract 5 from both sides. So we get 7n is greater than 42. Divide both sides by 7. N is greater than 6. Now, just like before, n is going to be bigger than 6, but there is a limit to how big my angle can be. How big can your angle be? Well, it can't be any bigger than a straight angle, so we know 7n plus 15 has to be less than, why did I say 15 again? For some reason I got that in my head. 7n plus 5 is less than 180. Well, we can subtract 5 from both sides. And we get 7n is less than 175. Well, we can definitely see the answer is not C, because there's two answers. It's in between. It's not D. We're going to divide both sides by 7, and our answer is either going to be 18.3 or 25. Well, I'm pretty sure it's 18.3 because when you divide by 7, we're not going to get a nice whole number, are we? So n is less than, well, let's take 175 divided by 7 and see what we get for an answer there. And we get 25. Wow, was I wrong? Okay, my mental math failed me. So n is less than 25. I should have noticed that. So it's between 6 and 25. So the correct choice should be B there.